Welcome back, Minnesota historians. Probably not the seniors, but everybody else. But maybe there's a few seniors still watching these. I don't know. We left off yesterday talking about kind of the art scene, museums, theater, music in our state. Today we're going to talk about the cuisine, which is kind of unique to Minnesota. And it's changing. Our cuisine is changing. We're kind of, over the long run, kind of based on both German and Scandinavian cuisine kind of dominated our culture in our state. And as time goes on and we have groups of people coming from other parts of the world, our cuisine changes a little bit. And we do see a lot of East African cuisine entering our state and Southeast Asian cuisine. And we'll have a little bit of that as well. Um, Speaking of the Scandinavian heritage, in Minnesota has a large amount of this. Llefse is a traditional soft Norwegian flatbread. I know my family eats a lot of this around Christmas time or Thanksgiving time. Some people eat it all year round. I had a student in International Falls. He said, "Yeah, we make it 12 months out of the year. Eat it like crazy." I'm not a huge Lefse fan. If I'm going to eat it, it better have a lot of butter, sugar on it, that type of stuff. But we this is something that is common throughout the state of Minnesota. Another Scandinavian delicacy is lutefisk, which is a dried or salted cod or white fish. The process you can see over here, you soak the fish in clear water for 3 days, and then you add 2 tablespoons of lye. Now, lye is poisonous, so you wouldn't want to just eat that with the lye in that gallon of water. You soak for 3 days, then soak for 4 days in clear water, changing the water every day. Um, Now, when you cook the lutefisk, you're going to tie it like in a square of cheesecloth or something, or you basically are boiling it in water, however you need to do that. And that's going to, first it changing the water every day dilutes the lye, and then it kind of gets rid of that lye when you boil it. So it's then safe to eat. I will have a video link that you will want to watch, very interesting on lutefisk. See, they're selling it here. If you get out to Madison, Minnesota, which is in the western part of the state, they consider themselves to be the lutefisk capital of the country, of the USA. They used to say world, but had to remove it because there's a place over in Norway or Sweden, I think, that eats a lot more than they do. But you roll through their grocery stores, you're going to see lutefisk sitting there. It's going to be on their menu at their restaurant. I'd say restaurants, but I think they maybe just have one. I don't know. But you've got your big cod here in the middle of western Minnesota, and you usually don't associate cod with western Minnesota, but here it is. Lutefisk is his name. And I'll have that video link for you to watch. Swedish meatballs, another Scandinavian delicacy. Rosettes, Scandinavian, kind of a Christmas cookie deep fried pastry. You'll see families make this around Christmas time. This krumkake, I think that's how you say it. I might have said it wrong. A Norwegian kind of waffle cookie. You'll see this sometimes around Christmas time as well. Some of you might make it. Sauerkraut. This is something, especially around New Prague, you see a lot of sauerkraut. A lot of the old Czech and German grandmas will have sauerkraut on their plate. I'm not a big sauerkraut fan. Hotdish. Now this is unique to Minnesota. Every family has like their own recipe for tater tot hot dish. And you can go over to people's houses and it's always a little bit different than maybe what you have. In other places of the country, they might call this a casserole instead of a hot dish. I know that sounds strange, but in Minnesota, we have hot dishes. Look at that. What's in a hot dish? Usually you're going to have some type of potato or noodle, some type of meat, usually canned or frozen vegetables, and usually some type of canned soup, probably cream of mushroom soup dumped in there and mixed up. Our most famous hamburger is the Juicy Lucy hamburger, and it's 2 bars in Minneapolis claim to have invented it, and a lot of other people have now copied it. But essentially what you have is cheese being cooked inside of the burger, and that's what makes it so juicy. The 5-8 Club in Minneapolis is one of the bars that says they invented it, and Matt's Bar in Minneapolis. Now we start, one of the things, I don't know if we'll really get to it in here just because of the shortened time. We didn't get to as much as we wanted to, but Minnesota has a large Hmong community coming from Southeast Asia. And during the Vietnam War, next door in Cambodia and Laos, the Hmong community assisted the Americans. And after we left the Vietnam War, they were persecuted by the governments, and so they were our allies, and now they were coming over. They're escaping death basically as they got out of Southeast Asia. And Minnesota has a large Hmong community, and you will find a lot of Hmong restaurants, Southeast Asian food, in especially maybe more in the Minneapolis areas. But I kind of screenshotted one here. Especially, a lot of the noodles are very good. But just something to try. If you haven't been to one of these restaurants, it's something to try. You may really enjoy it. Some Czech delicacies, kolache. Obviously, we know a little bit about that around here. There's different types of kolaches out there. Of course, ours that we make around here are probably the best. Montgomery is the kolache capital of the world. There's some bulochkis. Pomachka, Czech soup. If you haven't had any of this, there's no meat in it. It's just vegetables and vinegar-based, cream-based. Ethernitzy, some Czech liver sausage that uses the whole pig, heart, lungs, liver. Good Ethernitzy. Yeah, Minnesota's known for our potlucks, our Jello salads that we like, and not cookies, but bars. Don't call it a cookie. Some good old Jello salad. Boy. Can't beat something like this. Oh yeah, we've had some famous toys invented here too. I couldn't remember if I put that on there or not. Nerf football. Nerf was invented here. Twister, Tonka trucks, cooties, just to name a few. And we've had more things invented here as well. I thought I had it on here, maybe I didn't. I did want to just mention that we do have a lot of East African style restaurants as well, as we have more and more immigrants, first, second, third generation Americans whose families came from Eastern African countries, and you'll find a lot of those restaurants in the cities as well. So another thing that you could try, if you go read the reviews, there's lots of good reviews on different types of food. So if you want to become more cultured and venture out and go to some of these places, you can. It's a new taste bud experience. Okay, I think that's it. I'll have some links for you to view. Like I said, the Lutefisk one is pretty good. The Juicy Lucy one's pretty good. And so you can take a look at those. They'll be listed below.